Alright, well, we thing I want to do here real quick, and it's kind of more of a safety thing, well, safety and handy all wrapped into the one. This pipe here from this power washer, we always just throw it in here on the ground. We have this thing here, I got an cheap thing for this sort of pipe, for this sort of job. Maybe for an airline, but I find it totally useless. So basically it always just gets thrown here on the floor. The problem with that is you come in here to go and get something on this shelf, go by the milk machine, put oil in or whatever, and you can trip across it. And several times I almost went head first into that. Also, when you go to take it out to use it, it's always knots. I've often got fed up of it being knots and pull it harder and you end up having the power washer out the door after you. So I was on the internet looking for a cheap little reel to put on the wall here, something to make it just a little bit easier to be able to just pull the pipe out, and I found something nice and handy for this job. I was looking to see the best place to put it. I can't put it on this wall because it'd be in the way of coming in and out of the door. It'd also be, when we're pulling it in there to wash the milk in parlour, it'd be at a bad angle, so you'd have to pull it out before you go. Here though, I'd be fit to move a few things around. I'm going to move that heater out of the way. I might move that socket and put that socket somewhere else, but this would be a good spot to have that reel, just right above the pressure washer, and then it pulls then straight out this door. Right, so the idea is, I think I mount it about there. And it looks a bit good. We get it sort of crooked as we can. Now you might have noticed I made a wee change just in the middle of swapping out the battery in my camera, but I actually lowered it, put it up there, and I looked back at it, and to me it was just sitting a little bit too high, because if we have a couple of young people here that be washing at cars and stuff, and this power washer sometimes gets used as the local car wash, it's sitting a little bit too high. So I decided to just knock it down a bit. Yes, I have 4 holes there, I'll knock them in, fill them with concrete to be grand. Next thing we need to do is connect our reel to our washer. So I'll be hooking off this guy here, which normally goes to our lance. Take that off, which that can go in here now, in there. Okay, that should be that. Alright, so this is the feed coming out here, going into our lance, and that comes through there. Now this is the fun part. We need to get this in here. Okay. I'm going to push it back ever so slightly, and then we can fit a clamp that comes with this just to keep the pipe in tight like that there and stop it sticking up above the lip here. Okay. Now finally, let's hook up our lance. Pressure washer on. That's a nice handy wee reel there, and you know, it wasn't a very expensive one. I think it was under €100. So for that kind of money, I think it was alright, and it keeps that pipe off that ground now when you're going in and out. At least you're not going to trip on that. So I think we call that job done. I'm happy enough with that. We're over here at the farm, and myself and Sinead is just in the middle of practically getting ready, because we're going out for a meal tonight, Saturday night, and Sinead's birthday today, and we're supposed to be there in the next 40 minutes. But I have a different idea, and we have to put them in here as a bit of an emergency. So here's number 48. This looks alright on that side. But then on the other side, that's what she has. Now I think it's just clamped on the bottom of her eyelid, but look at what she done. We're going to go home now, run these back into the field quickly, go home, get ready, enjoy our Saturday night. You couldn't make it up, you had to see it with your own eyes. Well, I'm back over here now, and it's the following day. It's Sunday morning here. Just having a look through them. I've already got an eye, well, I shouldn't really say that, that's pardon the pun, but there's a slight little bit of swelling just exactly where it was. Just doing a nice poo there just to make the whole thing look even better again. Seeing another problem here when I'm walking over. Sticking to one pint, we topped this whole field, any bits and stuff that was left. As you see, this type of stuff here, just sometimes some of the rougher grass that they don't like to eat, and when it's topped, or not topped, when it's done with a disc mower, sits on top of the ground. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And now they're as full as ticks, I can see that. They might actually get another 2 days in here, and they'll just go along and they'll clean that off the surface of the field. And that does me a favour, and it keeps them on here for a little bit longer. This bloody drinker, I don't know what's wrong or what the heifers are doing to it, but it's leaking again. I put a new valve in it yesterday morning, thinking that the first one was faulty, so I'm not sure what's happening, but it is happening and it is leaking. So getting in here is the problem. Yeah, it's filling away. If the valve stops, so I'm going to have to put a wee bend on that valve, just bend it down a bit. I'm just hoping here I have a pair of vice grips or something with me. Probably won't. Everything but them. Yeah, at the very bottom. So I'll try to bring the essentials with me in this box. Just stuff that you generally use out in the field to make a quick repair, like hammers, these guys here for fixing barbed wire, tying down strap, a little vice, mobile vice that I got online, very, very cheap. I think it was about €24 or something like that. And that clamps onto that there, and you can use a little mobile vice. It's got a kind of a ball pivot on there. Very handy if you're fixing something out in the field. Little crowbar, stuff like that. Just general stuff that you'd use in an emergency out in the field, like what we're doing here. So I've had loads of issues this last while with valves leaking. Far more than you'd normally have. The seals are probably a little bit too hard for it. That is what we're looking for. And that's just stopped. It won't fill as full either. We still have this tree over here that I haven't cut up, just last tree, because there's a big root to it that's kind of still attached to the top of the hedge there. So what I'm going to do here now this morning is I'm going to take this fence down here, and I'm going to let the heifers go right up into this hedge. I know the fence is broken above, but they're not going to really go anywhere. I'm going to keep an eye on them today, and I want them just to eat everything around that. It'll make it much easier for when I come along to clear it. So remember the peg that was in the heifer's eye? Well, I think that's where it came from there. See that wee hole? There's one below. So we used to pull a fence from that whole rotten root down there when we were splitting the field in half, and I think that's exactly where that one came from. So just up here at this bin, and you can see the way there's little bits of bends here on the sides of this, where I'm all the time trying to get a bin underneath it. It's just a little bit on the long side. I don't want to cut it because I want the length when it's in the bin. So I put up with it quite a bit, and I thought about redesigning it, but then I just looked at it yesterday. I just removed this bolt, remove that bolt, it doesn't need it, and that will leave it that it can hinge up. And I could also bore a hole through it and put a pin in here to hold it up when it's not in use if I want to. Alright, so I see a wee bit of a flaw, and maybe this will save me, or make me feel a wee bit better with myself, but it doesn't actually flip up. It's catching here on the bottom. So, how do we solve that? I'm just going to take this chute off. Have a wee look here, because it's probably only a matter of re-boring these holes in a different place and just letting it down a bit away from the bottom of this chute that's coming out, just enough that I can clear it. Oh, there is a couple of new holes on it. Alrighty, someone bored these holes in after, so I might just straighten up my mess that I made back a while ago first. That's not bad, you know. I need to go home, get a drill or something, and figure out a way of just keeping it up like that, because I don't want it hanging down like that, really. Let's see. So I just removed that bolt there. Now there's one on the other side I have to remove too, but look at that. Just by taking that bolt out, that's out of the way. It's better than sitting out like that. You never know what it could catch or hit a person's face or whatever, even when it's down. So if I can get it up like that, that'll be a good one. Can't afford to leave that bolt out because there's a slider in here for pulling in out this thing, and if you leave that unbolted, it's going to leave that slider too loose and it could open. I'm just going to bore a new hole there and put that in a different spot. Trying to get a whole board in here. That's never going to go nowhere. But when I let this down, it does hang down quite a bit like that. And I'd rather be able to have it just at the pitch that I want. So what I done was I drilled another hole. I know there's a lot of holes, it's fierce holey this thing. But I drilled another hole just through there. And now I can come along with the same bolt, pop that in there. And there it is, it's at the right pitch where I want it. If I want to adjust it, I can drill another few holes the whole way around here and really have a party and put it whatever way I want. But that to me is just ideal in the right spot where I want it. So simple little thing, doesn't have to be perfect, it's not perfect, but it works. Now, we're in the field we haven't been in since, if I can remember right, probably about 3 weeks, or close to 3 weeks, not just 3 weeks yet. And that of course is our receded field. And this is the way it has come out. It's ticking there a lot. We did put a lot of seed on this, extra seed, and I'm glad I did. You can see there's loads of clover in it there too. We have a few docks here and there, a small couple, but they're old docks. They're ones that would have come through one of the furrows in the plough or whatever, but it got a lot of rain after it was receded. There is a video on that if you want to go back and check it out, but we didn't roll it, and I think I'm pretty sure we made the right decision by not doing that. The air seeder definitely works a treat. Definitely works a treat. It's lovely and warm, the sun's shining, there's plenty of moisture in the ground, so yeah, it can do nothing else but hopefully keep growing. It's not established enough to be grazing, but it won't be long. Once it has a nice root in the ground and you fit to catch the grass and pull it up without taking a root up with you, you know it's ready. When this is grazed, the idea is there's a lot of stones here. So when we get it grazed, we'll come in and we do the lovely job of hand picking them, as many as the big ones we can, and then we'll give it a roll. So it's about an hour after milking here, and this is what I'm at the minute. I'm gathering flowers. You can tell how lucky a gal she is. All right, well, I thought we were finished when I was making that last clip, but we're actually not. We were talking about doing our silage this week, possibly tomorrow, Wednesday. Today is Tuesday, but he rang me and said he could come and mow it this evening. He's quite busy tomorrow. There are grain and other things, so if we mow it this evening, they'll be fit to pick it up on Thursday morning. That's what they're talking about, or sometime on Thursday. Now, Nicole and Sophia's just gone up there. They're taking down this reel here, or taking down this fence that we had for our heifers going back and forth, so Ivan can come in and then he can mow without mowing the fence, of course. So it's the following morning, and I didn't get any footage like the last time of any mowing being done. Ivan came here, well, it must have been about 9 o'clock when he landed. I was away last night. I thought I would have made it back at about 11:30 when I would come home, and got a little bit of footage just when he was finishing up, but he was just done. But it's all mowed here now anyway, that's the main thing. One thing you might also notice is it's not the same as what it looked like in the first cut, where we put it all into, I think it was 30-foot swathes, where I got him just to swart it up. No, this is the actual way we would normally do our silage. He just cuts it, leaves it laying flat out on the ground, and that helps it to wilt out. When the weather allows, it's a great way of doing it, and we're due to get very hot temperatures today and tomorrow and Friday. We'll be lifting it tomorrow at some stage. We better get home. The girls are just feeding the calves here. We have a pit to strip. So what we're going to do is, I've already one pallet behind us, all gathered from the top. I'm going to lift a pallet here. I'm going to take down these things at the back, move the gate out of the way. I'm going to lift a pallet right in here, and myself, 3 daughters is with me here this morning. We're just going to go around. I'm going to take all these bags off. We're going to strip off these nets. We're going to take off the 2 black covers and just going to leave the clean seal underneath. We might actually leave one cover as well, because in case he doesn't come tomorrow, we don't want to leave the pit open for too long a time. So that's what we're going to do. It'll be warm work, and it is, although it's dull, it's very, very close and warm today. Let's tear into it. Well, that's about 10 minutes worth of work. We already have close to half the pit stripped, so that's the way we're just putting it onto pallets here like we did before. Makes it very, very easy just to come along then, pick it up when we want to use them, bring them down like that there and just put them back on the pit. I know there's a lot of controversy between tyres, dung, bags. And as I said before, it's whatever you prefer to use yourself. But for me, after using tyres for so many years, I'd never go back to them. Bags, just for doing things like this here or even covering the pit, so much easier to do. And if you thought weight was an issue, well, you could always put more bags on. There's nothing to stop you putting extra bags on if you wanted. Either way, they're still much handier to use. There's only one downfall: they don't last as long as people maintain. You can see here holes coming on the side. They're only been handled by hand, they're not being touched with any machines or anything. Even bags here, not that terrible old, but the stitching just coming apart. That's one of the issues I have with them. They don't seem to last that awful long, even when you are careful with them, but they are so much handier. Right, so I'm going to hook this pallet off. We're going to get another one, and we're going to start from the lower side then. Well, it's the same day as you seen in the first clip where me and the girl taking the bags off, and now we went ahead after milking and took the covers off because I was talking to Richard and he is going to be with us tomorrow morning at 8:30. So yeah, that's going to be a very bright and early start for us. We'll have milking and things done. It'll just work out nicely. That'll give us loads of time tomorrow evening to roll the thing and cover it at our ease, because it's given 27 up to 27 degrees tomorrow. It's extremely warm, but we have this done. It's ready to rock in the morning. Smell it, it's lovely stuff. There's a wee bit of blackening just along here where the cement is. That's just where that ramp is. There's a little kind of a lump there that stops the water from coming into the pit. Maybe I haven't showed you that before, but this floor or apron comes over here and then it raises into a ramp just there. So you bring your cover just over that, enough that any water that runs off the top of the cover, clean water, runs away down the drain as well. There's only a couple of inches of silage sitting on top of that, hence the reason a wee bit of air does get in. So I'll come up with the loader and I'll just scrape that whole stuff off. So that's it, we're all ready for the morning. Cows are milked, work is all done. We're going to go and get an early night tonight because tomorrow is going to be a busy day. We'll see you in the next one.